Bitcoin fatigue ensues, Ethereum rockets, and Dogecoin is just super excited to be invited to the party. We have your crypto update and the ones to watch. I'm here with JC Peretz. I'm Julie Alexandria. So JC, in your opinion, when it comes to crypto, is it best to choose off of utility and value, or do you invest in the one that's more popular and a little more transactional?
Me? None of the above. For me, I don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, listen, I'm learning. It's hard not to. I talk to a lot of smart folks. I learn more about crypto every single day. But the truth is, like, that's not my area of expertise, right? I want to stay in my own lane. In terms of popularity, you know, it's hard to quantify that. For me, it's really a price thing. Like anything else, I treat these cryptocurrencies the same way that I treat Apple and Microsoft and advanced micro devices and Japanese yen and US Treasury bonds. You know, to me, it's just another asset class. In many of these cases, they're going from the lower left to the upper right. And you know, us as trend followers, we like that sort of thing around here. So I like the ones making new highs. I like the ones showing relative strength. No doubt about it. That's what gets my attention.
Okay, so as a technical analysis fan, you fully believe in it. Can you then look at Bitcoin and crypto in general through the lens of technical analysis?
We don't have a choice, right? That is the only way. It's a supply and demand game. Listen, I've studied markets forever. I've gone back to Japanese rice markets, going back hundreds of years. You know, the one common denominator between all of those is that we are the same, right? So it's new markets, you know, the decimalization of stocks, cryptocurrencies. These are things that didn't exist before, but the one common denominator is you and me, and we're crazy in between the ears when there is money involved. And these emotions, fear and greed, can be seen in the market. So we've been fortunate. I wasn't super early in the crypto space, but 2014, 2015, hanging out with friends like, Howard Lindsay and other venture capital friends of ours in San Diego, I was surrounded by, Bitcoin VCs and stuff. And I started, I kept my mouth shut. I asked a lot, I asked questions. I just learned as much as I could. So we started covering it very early on. You should see some of my hilarious Bitcoin price targets around 600 way back in the day. So we've been covering it. First Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then some of the others. And as the cryptos now in this next cycle have come up, things like the Doge, Ethereum breaking out, Polkadot, right? There's new names, and we've added it to our arsenal. We trade it, we analyze it, all of the above, no doubt about it.
Fun fact for you, JC, Howard Lindsay was the first person that I ever heard the word Bitcoin come out of their mouth.
It's not surprising.
Not surprised at all. Now, there are some parallels when you look at charts. As far as the crypto market is concerned, it's behaving very similar to that in 2017. Can we expect a new run, perhaps poised for a breakout?
Well, in 2017, these things had a killer run. I mean, it was parabolic. I was getting text messages from my high school friends, not, hey, JC, should I buy cryptocurrencies or not? It was, hey, JC, which cryptocurrency should I invest in, right? That was a very specific question. And that was right around December 2017. So that was nice and convenient. Needless to say, all my high school friends are scared to death about it because they think they missed it or they don't understand it, which I think that's bullish. I still think that there's room to run. Is it 2017? I'd argue it's probably earlier in the cycle than 2017. And what we're seeing is outperformance out of Ethereum, something we haven't seen in a long, long time. We are making multi-year highs in Ethereum on a relative basis. I have to believe that's positive for the entire space.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Ethereum, a record high. It is up almost 300% from the beginning of the year. You yourself have said you're a huge fan. Do you think that Ether, when all is said and done, do you think Ether will finally outperform Bitcoin in the long run?
I mean, I certainly hope so. I have a little bit of Bitcoin, but it's pretty much, my exposure is heavy in Ethereum, a little bit of Polkadot, but Ethereum's really been my big position. So if that's the case, I mean, I would be thrilled about that. But, listen, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm not the expert in fundamentals that's going to tell you that, you could use Ethereum for this and you can't use Bitcoin. I'll leave that for other experts. For me, I'll tell you this much. This consolidation around 2,000, 2,500, I think has been incredibly constructive. I think it's really healthy for Ethereum. As long as we're above there, the path of least resistance is higher. 3,600 is next. 6,000 after that. but let's get to 3,600 first. Let's reevaluate when we get there. But I do think 3,600 is next. And again, from a risk management standpoint, which is the most important thing, because I don't know what's going to happen. Ethereum could go to 1 million or it can go to 0. I have no idea. What I do know is that if it's not above these 2,000, 2,500 levels, I do not want to own it. That I do know. And that is the only thing we can actually control, our own risk. So that's how I look at that.
Okay, well, one of the cryptos that we have not talked about yet, Dogecoin, it was initially started as a joke back in 2013 and is now the 7th largest digicoin with a total market value of almost 42 billion. What is your take on this little Shiba Inu cuteness? Woof.
Well, first of all, I think it's important for people to really recognize what type of market caps we're talking about. Polkadot's 30 billion, right? The Doge is 30 billion, right? Something like that, right? 30 something billion, 40 billion, you said. Yep. It's changing as we speak. But the point is, these are serious market caps, right? Like, these are not little tiny nothing market caps. Like, if these were stocks, if these were companies, they would be large cap stocks, right? On their way to mega cap status. Bitcoin is $1 trillion, right? Ethereum is like almost 300 billion or something like that. Like, that's serious, and that's in play. Something like a Polkadot, we're talking about the Dogecoin. These are in uptrend, so I don't want to be shorting them. These are things that we want to be buying. I don't even know if you can short them. I guess there's different ways to do it, but I want to be on the long side. Now, from a risk management standpoint, which we always come back to, you asked me about the Doge. I'm thinking 30 cents. That's the level. If we're not above 30 cents, you can't own it. Too much risk. It could be a scam. It probably is. It's not my problem, right? If it's a scam or not, that's not my problem, right? If you're left holding the bag at the end, again, that's not my problem. All I do know, and the only thing that you and I and all of us can control, is where we own it and where we don't. And I think 30 cents is that level. If we're not above 30, you can't own it. But if you're above 30, I think you can own it, and 50's next. And that's 60% higher.
Okay, well, the one thing, the plus side, at least that I think when it comes to Dogecoin, is the fact that they say there's an infinite supply of it. Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, big fans of this one. Elon Musk says it's the people's currency. He says it's its fave. When it comes to the environmental impact of crypto, where do you stand on that? How much do you take that into consideration?
None whatsoever. It's just, again, Julie, I try to stay in my own lane. Like, I don't know anything about that stuff, right? Like, environmental impact, I don't know. Like, we're buying energy stocks, and we're buying stocks that like ruin the world. Like, we're buying those stocks. So like, those are just not things that we consider when putting on a position. What we consider is the trend. What direction is it going in? Does the rest of the world agree with me already? Or are we going to be sitting around waiting for the world to agree, right? That's what we want to look at. And we want to identify what's the risk. How quickly can the market prove us wrong so we can go move on to something else? And in the off chance that we're right, can we get an exponentially greater profit and reward versus what we're risking? Those are the things I'm mostly interested in. Those are really the only things I'm interested in. A lot of that other stuff, I just don't know. So it's not my problem. I try to just ignore it.
Okay, so to that point, and as it relates to the market, do you think that we are in a crypto bubble?
I hope so, because bubbles are a great time to make money. Like, there is no better time to make money than in bubbles, right? So I hope we're in one. That'd be great. When you see a bubble, you run to it. Go. Like, that's the rule. You find a bubble, you go and you buy that baby, because bubbles last a lot longer than people think.
Well, the other good thing about bubbles is that sometimes they can be in our glass. If ether were a wine, what would it be?
Ooh, if ether were a wine, what would it be? Huh, I haven't really thought about that. Well, I think it would be a new world wine. We're not gonna put it in the Greece, Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Austria kind of Portugal conversation. It would be a new world wine, right? Maybe an up-and-comer, maybe Australia or New Zealand. New Zealand, the South Island of New Zealand, putting out some nice Pinot Noir, right? Because remember, it's the colder climate is towards the south in the southern hemisphere. They're putting out some good stuff. Ooh, maybe a Syrah from Barossa. Yep, if Ethereum was a wine, it would be a Barossa Shiraz from Australia.
That is so specific, and I love it. JC, thank you so much for this crypto chat. I appreciate it.
You got it.
What about the Willamette Valley?
The Willamette Valley, what about it?
Willamette Valley, that's an up-and-comer, right?
No, it's here.
No?
It's already here. It's not an up-and-comer. Like, it came. It was like an up-and-comer 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's here.
Is it that old? I feel like I've just been hearing about it.